Good evening and welcome to the May Steering Legislative and Governmental Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and our first item of business is to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Vice Chairman Phillips.
Mr. Chairman, I move that they be approved as mailed.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Our first item of business is to fill an alternate vacancy on the Board of Zoning Appeals. And this vacancy is to replace Joe Machado, term to expire October 2012. I believe, Commissioners, we've received 2 applications for this position. First one being from Mr. Jerry Barrett, and then also from Velton R. Jordan. Mr. Barrett is here, and I believe we have a letter from Mr. Jordan, who's not here. At a previous engagement, I believe everybody received that letter, didn't you? Or I'll pass around a copy. Good. As our practice has been, we'll ask Mr. Barrett, would you like to address the committee?
Yeah. My name's Jared Barrett. I've been here a couple times, and I think I could do a good job on this board and represent the people in the county and bring my breadth of knowledge and things that I know to the position. Appreciate it.
Any questions for Mr. Barrett?
You're an alternate on board now?
The beer board.
Beer board.
You applied several times then.
Yeah, and specific, I have for this one specifically. Yes, I have.
When you miss this appointment to zoning by 1 vote a couple of years ago. Maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I was not here then.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. I was originally
This,
recommended and then did, yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Barrett? All right, do we have a motion?
Move to nominate both and then vote for one.
A
I'll
motion, and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Ms. Vicki.
Commissioner Black,
Mr. Barrett?
Commissioner Farley,
Barrett.
Commissioner Gooch,
Mr. Barrett.
Commissioner Jordan,
Mr. Barrett.
Commissioner Phillips,
Barrett?
Commissioner Sandlin,
Mr. Barrett.
Commissioner Coggin.
Mr. Barrett. Congratulations, Mr. Barrett, and if you will come to our May commission meeting,
Yes.
it will be voted on by the full commission.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item is to fill 3 vacancies on the Linebaugh Library Board. We've received applications from Christy Lee, Carrie Sostrom, and Nell Blankenship. Are any of these applicants in the audience?
I'm here.
All right, Ms. Blankenship, would you like to go first?
Okay. Well, my goal was on, for Highland Rim Regional Library Board, and I was there last Thursday night. And they are doing like the other things, other, entities are doing, because I've been going to Legislative Plaza this, winter. And they're concentrating their power in Nashville, and they're telling how the Highland Rim Regional Library Board has changed from, having, they've lost Lincoln County and they've got dropped to Marion, Moore, and Grundy counties. So they're expanding in some ways, and it's going out a little bit different, but that's how they're doing it. But as according to Linebaugh Library Board, they're doing something interesting that I like. On the Saturday morning Market Square, there is usually the director, Rita Shacklett, is out here as people are going around and asking people if they want to check out books that deal with gardening, you know, for the people who are doing that. And that's interesting. And this is how the library is expanding its usage, is it's branching out. And it's been interesting to see that change and stuff like that, because they are changing. Okay? And I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Blankenship.
My name is Carrie Sostrom. I was asked to replace Nina on our Eagleville board. I live in Eagleville. Been a patron of the library for about 12 years, and had several other Eagleville citizens ask me to fill in for it. I've not ever served on the board before, but I was interested in the experience.
Thank you. And I didn't see Christie. All right, Commissioners, you have any questions for either one of these applicants? Seeing none, we have a motion.
Motion to approve all three acclamations.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Ladies, if you will please do the same as Mr. Barrett and come to our May commission meeting. We appreciate you being there, and you'll be voted on from the full commission. Yeah. Thank you very much for your willingness to serve. And lastly, under these filling vacancies, we need to fill a vacancy on the Highland Rim Regional Library Board. We received an application from Ms. Blankenship. You've already addressed us and the Highland Rim Regional Library Board, but if you'd like to say anything else, we'd be welcome to hear that.
Well, it's interesting to watch the changes, because they are doing changes with this library board. It's almost like consolidating the things that, and the one thing I can tell you this much, Fayetteville Library, they're trying to get a new computers, okay? And the only place they had to put them was in the basement, and the basement didn't meet code. And they appealed to the Lions Club to help them. And they said, well, we don't have any money, but certain ones of us have painting skills, electrical skills, construction skills, and we can come in there and do that. And that's how they're helping Fayetteville Public Library get its thing so they can meet the Melinda and Gates Foundation, so they can apply and get computers to teach the community the skills that they need.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Blaze. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve, Ms. Blankenship.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Blankenship. Now we need to announce a vacancy on the Correctional Work Center Board to fill the unexpired term of Mr. John Taylor to expire January 2012. Those are our regular agenda items. So since it was kind of a short meeting, I thought we might talk about the anti-litter resolution. Just kidding. Just wanted to see, if I got any reaction to that.
Motion to adjourn.
We do have a couple of items under any other business. Mayor, do you want to go first?
I will very briefly.
You have a brief announcement for
This
next
is just an
month.
announcement. Some of you, not all of you, well, maybe all of you since you were on here before. Every year, we have this 3-star program that the state of Tennessee has in place that we have to update our little documents and get that reapproved. So it's that time of year again, but so I'm not going to ask you to approve this document. It's several pages long. It contains basically the same format that the Chamber has prepared for us for years, but I'm going to give a copy to Ms. Shelton and a copy to your chairperson, and I will have Ms. Taylor scan this document in and send it all by electronic email to each of you, and you can review this if you so choose, and we'll put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Ms. Nolan, did you want to address us regarding the audit committee?
I did.
Okay.
Go that way. You go that way.
Commissioners, you remember, I think for the past 2 months, we have talked about the need and desire and formalities in establishing this audit committee, and Ms. Nolan's ready to present us with the draft of a resolution.
And section 2, and I'll fix it so you can see what I changed. I think after presenting it to the mayor, I may just read the second part and then let you see the little diagram. See, in this case, the picture was not worth 1,000 words. Okay. All right, so the audit committee will consist of 7 members. 2 could be comprised of 2 members from the county commission, 1 member of the Board of Education, 1 member of the road board, and 3 citizens of Rutherford County. One of the members must either be an active or inactive certified public accountant. I'll skip about the ensuring independence and drop down to the members of the audit committee shall be appointed by the county commission. County commissioners and citizens shall serve 4-year terms and the Board of Education and Highway Committee members shall serve 2-year terms. To establish staggered terms, the initial county commissioner members and 2 of the citizen members of the committee shall be appointed to a 3-year term. The initial Board of Education member, Highway Board member, and 1 citizen member shall be appointed to a 1-year term. Okay, so my diagram explains what I was trying to accomplish, that you would have 3, ultimately we would have 2 citizens running in concert with the 2 commissioners, and then 1 citizen running in concert with the Zone 2, 3, 5, and 6, and Zone 1, 3, 6, and 7 of the Road Board. 2, 3, 5, and 6 are the Board of Education, 1, 3, 6, and 7 of the Road Board. But with those running 2 years, there's not a split. You don't split somebody's term.
You need a motion? Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the resolution and send it to the full county commission.
Well, at first, I need to send it to the state of Tennessee.
Wherever it needs to go.
These are all of the changes that we talked about, was it last month, Lisa?
We talked about making it seven members instead of 5, and then we just kind of,
Will the steering committee be appointing these people here, or will it be selected by the mayor?
no, the county commission will.
I mean,
appoint.
they'll come through the steering, all right?
I mean, that's-
Yes.
I really had a question about what Commissioner Blank just really asked. I guess it's pretty obvious, we're gonna have to get a recommendation from you probably on the CPA, which is from somebody that knows. We'll have a number of different CPAs that, I think you said the last time that you knew, more than one, I think was your
Yes,
word.
and I met another one last week that I think that I had to talk to you about it. That wasn't even on my radar, that was interested, so I think you'll have a nice pool to pick from.
Well, the other, we have 2 members of the commission, and we've eliminated a number of them because of various conflicts that fall under this. We discussed that last time, which I'm fine with. What about this knowledge and experience of the remaining 4? How are those appointments going to be handled exactly? We may have 50 people that might be interested. I'm just asking.
How do you do, I would assume you would do it just like you do all your other appointments, that they're going to apply.
Just exactly like we did tonight.
And if it gets to a big number of them, I'd assume this committee would probably ask questions and interview, type, whatever, I guess in a meeting setting.
We could even, on these, when they make application, we could even put some additional requests in there for them to more fully describe some of their experience, professionally or otherwise, that would, give us information about their knowledge and experience in finance, et cetera.
Okay.
You
Right.
had-
That seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
But
I think if history were to kind of repeat itself, this first board committee will be the toughest one. And then after that, it usually kind of falls into place the way some of the other ones do. But this first one may create some interest and require a little bit of work. At least that's the way I look at it, Jeff.
thank you, Mr.
And,
Hall.
and I think under other business, we're going to be talking about notices before committee meetings and/or commission meetings about agenda items so that commissioners can look at it. And this is a perfect example of that, be getting some of those applications in advance the way we have been doing here so that we can take a look at them too and create a little bit more of an opportunity for folks to call us and/or us to make some inquiries. So I think that's an important part too.
Just maybe some wording, if it pleases the maker of the motion in the second, just to be a little bit more clear under the selection process. The members of the audit committee, last sentence there on the first page, the audit committee shall be appointed by the county commission upon recommendation from the steering committee. just so it answers the question that we asked.
All right. That's fine with me.
Okay.
You gonna put that in the motion? Or, okay.
Yeah.
I think this is a great step in the right direction. I appreciate you leading us down this road.
Well, that's what I want to say too. Thank you for the whole hard work you did on that.
Well, I'm gonna
Whoever-
give credit where credit's due. CTAS and the comptroller, CTAS pulled a lot of this together and gave us the guidelines. The comptroller gave us the guidelines. CTAS helped to craft this. And he's just massaged it for what you all
Right.
wanted. But the auditor, one of our auditors today, and I don't keep up with this, had thought that there was a bill floating through that is requiring, that's moving to require everybody to establish one.
That's good. We're a step ahead.
No one else has, all right?
That's why I asked her, I said, who else
Yeah.
has an audit committee, and none of hers. That's one.
As I said, thanks for leading us through this.
No comments.
Everybody can make recommendations, but it takes leadership to act.
No. Do you remember?
Speaking of acting, we've got a motion by Commissioner Farley and a second by Commissioner Sandlin. Thank you very much.
I have one question. Does this just need to be forwarded to the state of Tennessee for approval, or do you want it to go to the budget committee as well? And where?
No, I mean, to me, if this approves,
But, and this, the next question, Commissioner Phillips has brought up, about is this committee compensated? If it is, then it probably needs to go to budget.
well, I
then.
mean, it's in the mayor's recommendation.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, does it need to go to budget then?
It'll go to,
It will go.
It will? Oh, okay.
It will go
when they
by
approve
virtue
next year's
of-
budget,
Oh, okay.
because there's a new line item there
Right.
that includes this.
So this resolution just needs to go to the state and then to the full commission when it
I'm
comes
sure.
back.
I mean, how,
When it
that's how
comes
you.
back.
Do you want to send it on to the full commission after if we get approval? I mean, if it's not, then I would be bringing it back to you.
You want to bring it back here?
Bring it back here, I mean, you could. But if they approve it as we've submitted it, it really
And I
doesn't
can,
mean,
that's what I'm saying.
we can just take it on to the full commission. We can so notify you we've got approval.
Yeah, if it's the same thing, there's no sense coming back here. I wouldn't think.
We'll just place it on your agenda. It's ready to be
Yeah.
presented.
On the commission
At the-
meeting.
Of the full commission.
Very well. Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. One other item under other business, and I did not put this on the agenda because I wasn't quite sure we were ready to fully discuss this, but I would just like to make you aware, Commissioner Stevens and I have been in conversations for a few months now discussing the preparation of materials or availability of materials prior to full commission meetings to commissioners, and just trying to make those a little bit more available, i.e. documents, contracts, et cetera, so we'd have time to review those prior to the meetings. So I've been working, well, actually, I've not been working. I talked to the mayor, and the mayor's been working with Ms. Nolan as well as maybe IT to kind of talk about the systems and process put in place to make that a little bit more easier to accomplish. A lot of those things are already available and are already being made available. So anyway, I just want to make you aware of that. I'd like to ask any questions, please feel free to do so, or we can just put it on the agenda for next month. Or Mayor, Ms. Nolan, if you have anything you'd like to address on that too.
Just a kind of, the way I understand it there, and it probably makes a certain amount of sense, a lot of times we get to the commission meeting and we haven't seen a resolution or any type of a grant or any type of a budget item before it's before we get to that commission meeting, and I think the recommendation is give us a couple of days, 48 hours or something like that, to look at that material before we get to the full commission meeting. May be a good idea.
How are we gonna be getting it?
Not sure we are, but that's what we're going to be talking about.
If it does come to that, how would we be getting that information? Or
Go ahead.
Let's just sort of let Lisa tell us where we already are, what we've already started the journey on, and what she's already has. Last commission meeting, I didn't even know she had it, but during the commission meeting, she had the budget information on an iPad already loaded and preloaded. So she can give you just a brief update on where we are and what the capabilities are and how we're going to get there. Now, back to what Commissioner Phillips said, there's some practical, strategic things that we have to discuss about timing, very critical. And that there's some issues there that are going to be difficult to deal with, in that typically we have everything prepared on the day of the commission. Most, I don't know, I shouldn't say 99%, but most of it has already been through at least 2 committees before it gets there. But from time to time, in particular, the ability from stuff on budget on Thursday night to the next Thursday night for Elaine to get all that in the finished final form is a real difficult challenge. And much of the time, it is Wednesday before she has all of that actually completed officially, especially the resolutions that support the budget amendments, et cetera. So all of that is going to take a lot more careful thought before we can say that we can achieve certain timing goals. But we'll let Lisa just sort of talk about the process of what they already have in place and how we can get there. And she was sort of really thinking, she and Brian, that we would make all this happen at the committee level first, and then it would feed automatically the whole system that goes to the commission. But I'll let her talk to it.
I mean, it was, what I understood that y'all were looking at is to have everything 48 hours before commission meeting. And of course, budget meets Thursday. The next process is the typing of the minutes, and depending on how long that meeting is how long it takes to go through all those minutes. Then it's from the minutes that are then derived all the necessary resolutions that will have to go forward, typed up, put together. Now, and honestly, most of the time, it's Thursday morning that it's all complete. Sometimes it's an hour before y'all meet that we've got it out there, but most of the time, I could say most of the time, by lunchtime, it's pretty much done in final form. But to have it 48 hours, I don't believe we can accomplish that. But if the intent is you want to read the contracts without, not necessarily the resolution that says attached thereto and all, but the actual document itself, we could pull those right after we have,
the subcommittee meets, and then have that
right
already on
after,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
It might be one right after the other in a PDF form that we could just put it all together, and then y'all can have all the documents, all contracts, all grant contracts that we have at budget, that you typically, what we have.
Yeah.
And then put that in a PDF and send it out Friday. You just won't have the nice packet of information. Now, what we had worked to, we did, at one of the commissions, have budget agenda. Now we're working, how do we fold all this together? We tested tonight. Y'all might have seen me down here with Commissioner Jordan, the steering committee, and then links to those things that you have. If we get it prepared for each meeting, then you will have had everything, if not a little more, prior to commission. It's just not going to be in its nice final form.
By doing this, is this going to cause or create more another person as far as hiring? Is this kind of where that might be heading?
Well, not until if you put these time limits on us, maybe yes, but otherwise we're not proposing any more staff.
That's one thing I was gonna say. I don't wanna tie your hands on a
Right.
48-hour type thing, but if you can do like what you're talking about, after that subcommittee meets and get us that information, even though it's not in a nice bundle type format, but where we can go through that prior to the full commission, then night. I mean, that's what we're looking for.
And we could
every-
email all that to
Everything
them.
we give to the each committee, we could also email that to all of the commission members every time we
That's what I'm saying.
ship that out. There's no reason not to do
Well, I
that.
think you want an end product, though. You don't want something
Well,
that's been
the end product-
denied or something that's been
Well-
sent to another month or something, or we're still in,
Well,
review on something.
Everything that's on the agenda can be pre-sent electronically, whether it's a contract that we're proposing to accept or what. And then after we approve them, unless we approve them, it wouldn't go forward, but everything that's approved then would be pulled out of each committee meeting and put together for the final form that goes to the commission. So you would have already had your opportunity to see it once before even the commission meeting.
I'll give y'all some time. I think next month, if that's not pushing you too much, to kind of get your arms around this thing and see what you can do and what you can't do. And not that we make a decision next month, but at least discuss it and put it on the table next month. if
Or
that's
even 2 months. I mean, 'cause I don't
Yeah,
want to push it
right.
so hard where we're going to have some knee-jerk reaction.
Because you're getting ready to get in budgetary,
Yes.
or already in, so, I mean, so, don't want to added,
Well, I mean, if Becky, at the end of your meetings, if there are some kind of contract or something that will be forwarded to the full commission, then you could,
I can just make it as an attachment to my minutes.
yes. And do you shoot it to all commissioners or just?
Everybody but two.
I think Commissioner
And
Joe
then-
Franks is going to, you could send his to
Yeah,
Mary.
yeah, we're going to send this to
Okay.
Mary. And then we're going to, we would take that information prior to the commission meeting, the data, we would extract the data out that now needs to move forward. Much of it's already gone to budget. But if it hadn't gone to budget, we'll take the other things, couple that with budget, and we'll put it in a choreographed file that will be indexable and movable. You can be able to pick and choose which file you want to open during the course of the meeting. So this can all be made to happen. We'll take Becky's stuff, hand it over to Vicki, and Vicki will take that and scan it in and put it in a complete file that matches the agendas that have been prepared.
Sounds promising. Why don't we just?
We can do this on before July the 1st. We thought really maybe to make this work, we'd start with these committees, or at least move forward with that, and maybe have the whole thing functioning by the time we'll select new committees, September the 1st.
It sounds like a working plan.
So would you all like this placed on the agenda maybe in 2 months?
I would say 2 months, give them.
Or just let us.
Or let y'all come back
Let's
and
just
work.
work.
We're gonna let Lisa and Brian keep working this system, okay?
Or when they're ready, just have them come, let you know to
Well,
come
you'll
back.
just be
Just
getting
report.
emails, read your emails.
And one thing we're gonna, assuming you want us to do this, we probably need to go ahead and put some money in the budget. We're proposing, at least initially, to put enough, we're gonna buy iPads. That will be county property, that will be here. When you show up for a meeting, they'll be preloaded with all that agenda information on it. Now, you will have already received on your own, whatever device at your own home, this information prior to you getting here. But as soon as you get here, you'll open it up and there it'll be.
Some
But
of
we're
us,
gonna have to we're gonna buy iPads for that purpose, okay?
well, some of us, we may have to have a class on that.
Well, we get that. Okay.
Is there an app for that? Very well.
All that sounds pretty promising, it really does. Commissioner Stevens is here, and he had some suggestions that, wonder if it'd be appropriate to ask for a comment from him if he's prepared.
We need to suspend the rules for that.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Stevens?
Well, thank you all so much for having me here tonight. I really appreciate it. It sounds like everybody's receptive or open to the idea of giving notice of these things ahead of time. I was kind of shocked, honestly, when I got up here that when we show up to the commission meeting, there were stacks of papers and we had to read through all the materials in a few minutes and understand it and comprehend all the things that we're voting on. And I think it would be a lot better and more transparent for the public, more confidence in what we're doing if they know that we've actually received these materials and had the opportunity to read them. And I know I feel a lot better if I'm voting on something if I've read it and understand it myself. And I think that would just be a good thing for us to do to make the public more confident in our actions if we gave the notice. And ideally, it would be nice if we could put it on the county website before the meeting so that the public could read over these things too.
Commissioner, I don't think, and don't take this the wrong way, because sometimes I come across the wrong way, but I think the public, by not doing that, didn't have a lack of confidence in us. I think we all did sit down and read those before. We're just moving in a different way of doing things, and I'm all for that, but I think the public I don't think it took away the confidence from us by not doing that before.
Because anything that the sheriffs did, their requests came before you. You had their contracts.
Right. The committee process was working great, and I'm not taking offense to it. I just want to state my opinion that I think that the citizens still had confidence in us the way we were doing it. I don't think nobody was doing something to not be that way. Just want to say my piece.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I just think it would be good if they had more confidence. And just because the committee sees something, the other 14 commissioners who are on that committee probably haven't seen that. And I think it would be good if all 21 of us are going to be voting on whether to approve a contract or a grant or a resolution, if all of us see it and understand it before we vote on it, instead of just relying on 7. And maybe that's just because of my background in business, that I want to read everything before I.
All the minutes is mailed out.
Yep.
The meeting,
Everybody gets the
get it on
minutes.
your website.
Well, the minutes and the resolution you're voting on are not the same thing. I mean, there might be an amendment that needs to be added to a resolution or something, and if you haven't seen the resolution before the meeting, you're not going to have time to sit down and think about if it needs to be amended or not.
Well, I mean, that may be and don't take this the wrong way, that might be the attorney and you coming out as far as on those type of things. But I think the citizenry, and I know I have every confidence in that it was being done satisfactory. But this is a better way. We're going away from the paper and stuff. Hey, no offense. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just wanted to state my opinion and kind of take up for some of us commissioners up here that's been up here before. We wouldn't trying to
Run a scam.
I mean, but I respect your opinion on it as well, so.
I think it's, the idea has merit, and we've talked about that,
Right.
and maybe even the plan that Lisa and the mayor is working on right now is something. Let's see how that evolves and see if it gives us what we need, and it's not anything earth-shattering. We don't have to do it this week, so I think it's a good plan to work on.
I agree. There's merit to it.
It is.
I was already jealous of Commissioner Stevens from Public Works. He's got his iPad. We didn't have none.
He could have shared.
Was he on Facebook during the meeting?
I have mine now. The governor's giving me one.
No.
This
Just
is
let
my
you look at it.
personal one?
No. You just get to look at it and touch it and give it back.
Very well. Any other business? Commissioner Farley?
Yeah, I've got something. I learned something the other night in public safety that I regretted to learn, and that is our secretary, Miss Becky Shelton, is going to be retiring. She's going to be coming on board with me
That's right.
as far as retiring.
But she's young.
I just wanted to say this. I've known Becky before I got up here on the county commission. We've actually known each other, I think, about 27 years.
Me also.
Yeah, Jack as well. And I think you got 30 years in the county.
No, I have about 4.5 with the state. I work at Folk Rehab.
Okay, so been here a long time.
A long time, yes.
I know I'm speaking for a lot of commissioners here. We truly hate to see you leave. You've kept me as a chairman. You've helped me do things this way or whatever, but I want to tell you thank you.
Thank you.
We love you. We think the world of you. You've been a big help, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
And you're a dedicated person, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you. It's been fun.
I second the motion.
All 30.
And she can do really good wallpaper work, too.
Yes, I can.
Yes, you can.
Fall back on.
Oh. And some other things, but probably don't even need to mention that.
And
Motion
my
to adjourn.
psychic ability.
I do have something else I want to add. There's some county employees that are not here. I hope they're watching, and I hope the citizens out there are watching this. This past Wednesday, this county had an event through some storms. I was in the middle of it. I had some damage myself there at my house. And, the subdivision I live in, and a lot of my commission district took quite a bit of a hit. I want to actually personally, and I've actually been out today with some county employees, shaking their hands and thanking them. They're out there working hard. The solid waste department with Director Mac Nolan and his crew are doing a tremendous job. They're out there picking up the limbs in the area, working hard. The Rutherford County Fire and Rescue Department with Chief Farley, my brother, and his volunteer fire department firefighters out there. The day that happened were second to none. Other fire departments, volunteer fire departments were out there and doing a fantastic job. Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, everything was tremendous. I mean, everybody did a great job. Got a call today, Commissioner Jernigan, they were out, they notified me today they were out in the area picking up debris. Rutherford County Highway Department was out doing that. I know there's probably more county employees that I don't know about, but I know of those groups. And I personally, as the county commissioner of the 7th district, with the damage that was done in the 7th district, I want to personally thank them. And that's my say. I know it's probably damage in other commissioners' districts, but I just personally want to thank them. Without the employees, this county couldn't operate. So that's the way I feel about it.
I think we could all echo your remarks very much, very sincerely. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.